Let's add some protection. Before we handle the click, we need to check if it's valid. We can check if the move is valid by passing squares and the move to a isMoveValid function. And if it's not valid, then I just want to return from the handleClick function. Let's implement this isMoveValid function. So, const isMoveValid, and let's write parameters, squares and move. This function will eventually return true if the move is valid. But first, we need to check if the square is occupied. For that, we can use the isSquareOccupied function and pass squares and move. If the square is occupied, then we want to return false from this function because the move is obviously not valid. In a similar way, I want to check the winner, and we'll implement that a bit later. Let's implement the isSquareOccupied function, which accepts squares and move. Here we can check if squares of a move is an empty space. Actually, it's better to check if it's not an empty space and just return that. So let's see how this works. If a square is not occupied, I'm able to click it, but now I'm not able to click an already occupied square. Now, let's implement the calculateWinner function. Let's add a function that accepts squares and move, just like the isMoveValid function. I want to use the winning positions, and it will be a list. I'll show you what that list should look like. And to show you that, let's change the value to the index here on line 80. So what is a winning position? For example, if X is on position 0, 1, and 2, that's a winning position. Another winning position is 3, 4, 5, or for example 0, 4, 8. Don't forget to revert the index back to the value. So let's write these winning positions. And now we want to go through each of these winning positions. Let's extract A, B, and C from the winning position. In the first iteration, it will be A equals 0, B equals 1, C equals 2, and so on. We have a winner if squares is the same as squares of B and the same as squares of C. For example, if X is in squares of A, X is in squares of B, and X is in squares of C, then we can say that X is a winner. We can simply return the value from squares of A, and that tells us who the winner is. The only problem is that at first every single square is just an empty space, and with our current code the winner is an empty string, which of course is not what we want. So we want to proceed with all this logic only if squares of A is not a space. And finally, if squares doesn't contain any empty spaces, meaning all squares are either X or O, then we can return draw. Yes, it's not the best naming convention to have a winner called draw, but it works. And otherwise, let's just return null, which means there is still no winner. Let's check how it works now. So X, O, and now I'm clicking. But nothing is changing because we already have a winner. But it would be helpful if it's written somewhere on the screen. In order to keep track of the winner, let's add an additional state called winner using useState and initialize it with an empty string. Also, let's add some styles, a winner style and a tie style. Let's go to our handleClick method. And before returning the new squares, we want to calculate the winner. And this function just needs the new squares. We can remove the move parameter from the calculateWinner function because we only need the squares. And finally, if there is a winner, then we can set the winner state to that value. Now we can show the winner in our app, behold their glory, for they have mastered the ancient art of clicking squares. I'm worried our master will be disappointed with such a poor piece of text, so let's use our signature style and write this code the right way. If the winner is aux or X, then apply the winner style and display who the winner is. If there is no winner, the winner is a draw, because our calculateWinner function returns draw. Then use the tie style and display that as a tie. Now let's check our masterpiece and enjoy the product of our hard work.